Petrie.
Well, thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister for Justice and the Minister assisting the Prime Minister on counter-terrorism. Will the Minister please advise the House as to what steps the government is taking to build domestic capacity to challenge violent extremism?
The Minister for Justice.
Thank you very much, Mr Speaker, and can I thank the member for Petrie for that question. Countries all across the world are dealing with this question of what makes people susceptible to both extremist influences and recruitment by terrorists. The tragic and barbaric murder of Curtis Cheng in Parramatta was sadly another stark reminder that young people in Australia are radicalising, and this can very quickly turn to deadly violence. I've recently travelled to New York and Washington to discuss the issue of violent extremism with our international partners, and through these discussions it has become clear that this type of radicalisation is a global threat, it is a complex threat, and it is one from which there is no readily available solution and remains a serious challenge. My counterparts, though, recognise that Australia's response to countering violent extremism is amongst the most advanced in the world. It is advanced because we continue to involve our response, along with the challenge, in embracing new and creative solutions to this problem. We realise that preventing somebody from becoming radicalised in the first place is the most effective defence against terrorism, and that's why we tripled our investment in countering violent extremism to $40 million. A range of measures is now in place to help stop our young and vulnerable from moving down the dark path of violent extremism. We've got intervention programs operating all around the country. These programs help us identify radicalised and at-risk individuals and provide case management plans to address the root cause of their radicalisation. We're challenging terrorist propaganda online. ISIL is a medieval and barbaric organisation, but they do use modern forms of communication very effectively. On Twitter, ISIL and its supporters have at least 46,000 active accounts, each with an average of 1,000 followers, and every day ISIL or its supporters create upwards of 1,000 pieces of online propaganda on Twitter alone. The government is working on initiatives that help us understand how extremist propaganda resonates and then works to undermine its appeal. This is in addition to the $660 million over 4 years that we're investing to support social cohesion and settlement services. But we realise that continuing to meet this challenge requires every level of government across the country, and of course the greatest allies in this will be the Muslim communities themselves. The Prime Minister has therefore convened an urgent meeting in Canberra on Thursday with officials from federal, state and territory agencies to discuss our approach to countering violent extremism. The recommendations and proposals developed at this meeting will be considered at the next meeting of the Council of Australian Governments and will be used to ensure that Australia's response to countering violent extremism continues to lead the world and continues to help us to meet this new and evolving terrorist threat.